Welcome to your weekly astrological weather. This is your place to get practical guidance for not only surviving, but thriving with the cosmic tides. Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to your weekly astrological weather. I'm your host, Amanda Walsh, and I am here with astrologer and podcaster, Scott Tejerian. And before we dive into the weather for the week of July 18th to 24th, I just wanted to reach out and say, if you are not yet a Cosmic Insider recipient, I highly encourage you to go to astrologyhub.com/insider and become one now. You'll get a weekly overview of the cosmic weather, plus a roundup of all of our podcast episodes for the previous week that we've featured here on the Astrology Hub podcast network. The Cosmic Insider is completely free. You just go to astrologyhub.com/insider and start getting your weekly cosmic weather scoop delivered right to your inbox today. All right, Scott, welcome back to the Astrology Hub weekly astrological weather.
Thank you. Thank you for having me back, Amanda. It's great to see you.
Yeah. Hey, I'm going to put you on the spot because I didn't tell you I was going to ask you this.
Okay.
On a scale of 1 to 10, in terms of intensity, what is this week ahead?
Ooh, let's see. Scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to go with a 6.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
I don't know. That question's always like perplexing to me. I can look at ways that, it could be a 10 or it could be a 3. And I feel like I'm going to undersell it if I say it's a 3. So I can't say that. Then everyone's going to stop watching. They're like, I don't have to worry about this week,
Oh my gosh. Yes.
So I should say it's a 10 so that everybody's like, oh God, I got to watch it.
No, actually, I think a lot of us are probably really relieved to hear the number 6, just because we've had so many 10s. It's like, okay, well, then the focus is on just how do we work with the energy most productively? How do we, instead of it being a 10, which any week could be a 10, depending on how we're working with things, how do we mindfully work with the energy so that our week does end up more around a 6, which feels kind of like it has some energy to it, but it's not over the top.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yes. I mean, there's powerful energetic shifting going on because Venus moving into Cancer, which happens on Sunday. So that would be yesterday. And then there's Mercury and the Sun both moving into Leo. So a lot of shifting going on in terms of the energy, how to work with it, how to utilize it. I think things will be more intense in the coming weeks, but I think this week should be a nicer start, hopefully.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
So what would you say is the theme for the week?
The theme is going to be sovereignty or opening your heart. This is the week to open your heart. And when you open your heart, you claim your sovereignty. You recognize that I am divine. I am unique. I am special. And it's not to say that I'm special or better than anyone else, because it's not about that. It's about each individual recognizing what makes them unique. And as I'm sure I've said to you before, and you've heard before, the next time the planets and stars will be aligned in the way that they were when you were born is over 25,000 years from the date, time, and place of your birth. So you are unique. And this is that time of year when the planets move into Leo, the sun particularly, and that's about opening your heart, because Leo rules the heart. Leo is fixed fire. Leo is ruled by the sun. The sun is the center of the solar system. The heart is the center of the body. It's the battery that's allowing you to live. It's the first organ that's developed when you are in utero. And so the lion is the symbol for Leo, and the lion is the king of the jungle. So you see the themes here: the sun, the center of the solar system. The earth doesn't exist without the sun. The heart, the force that is powering your body. You don't live without the heart. And the lion. The lion is known. There's the phrase, the heart of a lion. So there's a lot of opening up that is occurring right now, to encourage you to really embrace the flame and shine and share your warmth and enjoy life. Enjoy life. That's why I want this week to be like a 6 for intensity, is because, when the planets are in Leo, we're supposed to have fun. This is about joy. When you think of how the signs align with the houses, the fifth house is the house that's associated with Leo because it's the fifth sign. And the fifth house is the house of children. Now that children represents the energetic expression of children, having fun, playing games, romance, dating, love life, being the center of attention. So how would you like to shine? And when you're shining, it's not about outshining anyone else, because again, each individual brings their own unique light. So if you're shining bright, that shouldn't lessen my light. It complements my light. And it's about authenticity. When you're living from your heart center, there is no competition because it's you and there's no one like you.
Oh my gosh, I love everything that you just said. That I feel like we could go on tangents about every single thing that you just brought up. I mean, starting with the beginning, when you talked about sovereignty and an open heart, because I think that there is a misconception that often when we're sovereign, I don't normally think of the two things together, like, oh, sovereign and open heart. It's like sovereign kind of has this like, in my mind, at least, I don't know if this is true for other people, but there's a little bit of a austerity to it. Like it's a little more closed because it's so independent and it's so, just, it doesn't really need anything. But the open heart piece, I can see how this astrological configuration is actually inviting a deeper understanding of sovereignty, and that true sovereignty wouldn't need those protective, hard edges, because when the heart is exuding the love actually becomes the protection. And that is the actual true sovereignty. And like you said, when you're in that level of sovereignty, you don't need to compete. You don't need to worry about what anybody else is doing because you're just in your authentic truth. And like you said, nobody else has that. Nobody else has that design. And even what you brought up about the 2,500 years, that
25,000.
Oh, I'm sorry, 25,000
yes,
years.
25,000 years.
Whoa. And even for that, it still wouldn't be the same chart because we're in a different place in time.
Yes. Well, it would, I guess technically it's if you were at the exact same place, it would be a different time, but if you're at the same place, it would be the same alignment, but it would be a different reality around you. Right? Because it wouldn't be the reality that we see here. So even then, it's still different. It's just the alignment's the same, but life on Earth 25,000 years ago was not the same as it is right now. And 25,000 years from now, it won't be the same as it is right now. So that is how you're one of a kind.
Yeah. I love to think of it as like as unique as your fingerprints, as unique as a snowflake. It's like literally there's nobody else like you. There's no one else that came with your code. So this is Leo season. We're expressing, we're having fun. It's joyful. It's playful. It's all those beautiful things. And it's about the open heart. It also reminds me of what we were talking about earlier, Scott, before we went live, because Scott asked me about the puppies. So if you don't know, I have 9 puppies. I have a litter of 9 puppies. And he said, well, when are they going to be going to their new homes? And I was like, oh God, like I can feel my heart breaking just thinking about them going to their new homes. And I also feel the tendency, the protective mechanism to then not get too attached, not enjoy them as much because it's going to hurt so bad to let each one of them go. but then you miss out on life. So this open heart thing is interesting because I feel so many times we protect ourselves from anticipated future pain by not opening our hearts up as much as we could.
Yes. So you deny yourself of the love to share and to receive. And when you're doing that, you are a coward.
Mm. Oh my God, you just called it out. That's truth right there.
So, it's much easier said than done, of course, but like, that's why lions are known for being courageous, and it's the heart of a lion. That's what we want to embody. It's about having the courage to love, and having the courage to love who you are, and to recognize that your way of play and fun is going to share warmth and shine light to those that you're around. I mean, sure, some people might not dig your vibe, but they're not the planets that are meant to be revolving around you. So find your planets, find the people that are lit up by you being lit up, that feel warmth by you sharing your warmth. So that's the frequency to really embody right now.
Scott, it also reminds me of the misconception I feel, I don't know if it's cultural or human, that it's only worth it if it's going to last forever, Yeah. And so again, like when is it only worth it if you get to keep something? Is it only worth it if you're going to be married forever? Is it only worth it if there's like an end goal? It's like, no, actually it's worth it just because it's worth it, because it's enjoyable, because it's love, and it's love moving and expressing. And so I think there's so many themes here around this Leo exploration that are very fruitful for all of us in really living that courageous lion energy of just pure joy and expression and love.
What you're saying about needing to keep it or for it to last forever, I mean, that's really the tragedy of life. That people hold back from truly living because they're afraid that if they take the risk, that it's not going to work out somehow. But really, it's the risk that is the whole point. Life is fleeting, is temporary, and it's like the old adage goes, like, people that are on their deathbed are never talking about regretting the things that they did. They're regretting the things that they didn't do. And so that being said, let's be honest, the lion sleeps 20 hours a day. So maybe it's just about being lazy and just soaking up the sun and and just being outside and just relaxing and being a little bit lazy and knowing that that's okay, that you have the ability to just exist and not have to do anything. That just you being here in my presence is of value to me. And that is love. When you can appreciate yourself and someone else in that way.
Wow. So deep. I love it. Your Scorpio sun. We just go right in there. It's like, yes.
And so you mentioned Scorpio sun. And so I'd be remiss to not mention that, so during these dates, which happens, every year, the sun's in Leo from July 22nd to August 22nd. So all of my Scorpion family out there and the Bull family, the Taurus people, especially if the sun's there, but any other key astrological point or planet that's in Taurus or Scorpio, you're going to get squared by the sun. And so this can feel like a sunburn, where you're like in the middle of the desert with no water, no shade. So for those with key astrological points in Taurus or Scorpio, if during this period, July 22nd to August 22nd, you're feeling burnt out or run down, give yourself an opportunity to be the lion and just rest. Shut it down, recharge. You're not meant to necessarily push through this frequency. It's not meant for you right now. So it's meant to just scale back. And this is not through the entire time. It all depends on, like, this is why it's so important to know your astrological code, so that you know the days where the sun is squaring your sun or your Venus or your Mars or whatever it is. So okay, this is why this is happening. So I'm going to dial it back on these days and not push myself at 110% like I normally expect to, because we, in like our society, the way that we live, it's like you got to go, working 10 hours a day, 8 days a week, all that sort of thing. And it's like, that's not how life is supposed to be. So be the lion, be lazy, lay back, relax, and just love yourself for existing.
Sometimes when we have a strong archetype for a week, I always love to recommend like actually visually connecting with that archetype. So this week, it could be a good idea to just like watch a video of a lion in nature, or like have something up on your screensaver or something to remind you to tune into that energy and find that frequency,
Yes.
Okay, so Scott, what else do we have? So you're saying the sun is going into Leo, yep. Mercury into Leo.
Mercury is also in Leo. So that's a little different frequency. Mercury is the planet of communication. It's the planet of thought, the conscious mind. So this, when Mercury's in Leo, and so this is happening between July 19th and August 4th. And I'll also mention the last time was July 27th through August 11th. So I always encourage people to go back and look, what was going on in my life the last time Mercury was in Leo, July 27th to August 11th of last year, 2021. That might give you some clues on what could be in store for you this year, July 19th to August 4th. But the planet of the conscious mind in the sign that rules the heart, that is ruled by the sun, that is symbolized by the lion. Roar. This is your time to roar, to really be proud of your thoughts and your ideas. Now, of course, there's a shadow side to everything. So, you can, the king can be benevolent, or the king can be the tyrant, the queen benevolent, or the queen the tyrant. So, who are you? Are you being benevolent? Are you proud in a confident, knowing sort of way, or are you being arrogant and aggressive in pushing your views upon other people? So that's something to think about. There's going to be a lot of potential verbal clashes as Mercury transits through Leo, because everybody's going to be thinking that they know. And so it's going to be important to be that person that has the capacity to listen, that has the courage to say, I don't need to push my ideas on somebody. I can listen, I can hear them. And after I've heard enough, I can say, are you done? And now it's my turn. And now I'm going to speak with that greater confidence and speak from your heart. Are the words that I'm choosing reflective of what I feel within my heart?
It brings us back to that sovereignty thing. Mm-hmm. If you are truly sovereign, you do not actually need to push your agenda or your perspective on anybody else. It's much easier to hold space for other people's ideas and not be threatened by them. Yes. Because you're centered and anchored in yourself, and it's okay for them to be centered and anchored in themselves in your presence. You don't have to convince them or sway them or try and get them to be any other way.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So more lessons from our Leo archetype. I love this.
And before we even get to that point, though, I have to say that, Monday, Tuesday is when Mercury first on Monday.
Sorry, Scott, what is the date of Mercury going into Leo?
Okay. Oh, well, that was July 19th to August 4th.
Oh, so, right. Okay.
So Tuesday is when Mercury moves into Leo. So the day before, on that Monday, Mercury opposes Pluto, Mercury in Cancer, opposes Pluto in Capricorn. So this is always a fun alignment for me when it's Mercury and Pluto. And I'll tell you why in a second, but also I want to mention that on Tuesday, the sun is going to be in that exact same spot. So it's like Monday, Mercury's there, moves into Leo on Tuesday, it leaves that spot, the sun fills that gap, and then the sun opposes Pluto. So when you look at the symbols of Mercury and Pluto, and it's important, I encourage anyone to really, if you want to learn this language of astrology, learn how to read the symbols. And you look at Mercury and Pluto, they're very similar to one another because they're both made up of the three root symbols, the circle of spirit, which represents your eternal soul, no beginning, no end, the cross of matter, which represents the four elements of matter, air, fire, earth, and water, and the crescent of receptivity, which represents giving, receiving, teaching, learning. So Mercury is a crescent of receptivity on top of a circle of spirit, on top of a cross of matter. Pluto's that same symbol, except instead of the crescent of receptivity on top of the circle, it's in between the circle of spirit and the cross of matter. Mercury is the guide of souls to the underworld. Pluto is the lord of the underworld. So these two have an interesting relationship with one another. But it's important to mention this because as we're working our way towards sovereignty, we're going to need to transform the way that we speak and think, and we're going to need to transform our identity. That's the sun. And as we're doing that, this is some of the work that we've been called to do as these planets have been transiting through Cancer, because Cancer is about the roots, your upbringing, your childhood, the ones who raised and nurtured you, your ancestors. Where do you come from? Opposite of that is Capricorn. That's the mountain that we want to climb to the top of. That's our achievement, our goals, our aspirations. Pluto is there transforming our relationship to authority, transforming our relationship to ourselves as an authority by taking responsibility for what it is we want to accomplish and achieve. So you have Mercury and the sun opposing Pluto. It's giving us an opportunity to transform how we think about our past, transform how we relate to our past. Any blame that you're holding on to, whether it's blaming yourself or blaming your family, blaming your parents, it's an opportunity for you to transform that blame and say, you know what, that happened, and I'm not going to deny that or pretend like it didn't happen, but I'm also not going to lug those heavy bags up to the top of the mountain because it's holding me back from getting to where I want to go. So in order to have the confidence to get to where I want to go, I need to release the victim mentality that, well, I can't do it because of fill in the blank. So this transformation, as it occurs on Monday, Tuesday, then the planets Tuesday and Tuesday, Friday move into Leo, Mercury first, and then the sun. Now I have the confidence to truly open my heart and be sovereign and say, you know what, I deserve success. I deserve joy. I deserve to have fun.
So powerful. And I can see how it's incredibly important to release those other things in order to even embrace that you deserve success, you deserve joy. If you're beating yourself up about things that have happened in the past, blaming yourself for everything, if you're still in that victim mentality of like, well, I can't because this happened to me and that happened to me and I'm in this situation, it's impossible for you to experience joy.
Exactly.
From that place. So yeah, again, the cosmic curriculum is amazingly beautifully designed.
Yes.
And that it's like sets us up.
And
right.
And that's why Cancer comes before Leo. You know, you think about Cancer's the home and Leo is play. It's children. You know, you before you have children, you want a home that's safe and secure and emotionally sound. And from that place, you can truly play and have fun and enjoy life. So Cancer is allowing us to get in touch with our emotions and churn up the soil, the roots, so that we can get that good, really dark, rich soil to the top, so that when we plant those seeds of joy and fun, they sprout. And by the time the planets get over to Capricorn, it's like, yeah, we're climbing, we're reaching that pinnacle.
Nice. Oh,
yes.
I love it. Okay.
Yes.
What else do we have this week?
Well, of course, there's Venus in Cancer, which just moved in on Sunday. So Venus in Cancer, that is from July 17th to August 11th. The last time Venus was in Cancer was June 2nd to the 26th of 2021. So think back to those dates for clues on how you might be experiencing relationships during this period. So it's bringing a greater sensitivity to relationships. Cancer is ruled by the moon. The moon is the planet of emotions. So there may be tears flowing in relationships. There may be a need to be more nurturing or caring or kind in relationships. There's just a lot of sensitivity happening in relationships, and that is very positive, because we're looking at it from a perspective of, I really want the people that I'm in relationship with, whether it be a lover, a friend, or a business partner, to honor my feelings and respect my feelings and reflect my feelings. And I want to be sensitive to what they're feeling, because, if we're working together in business or in friendship or in a loving relationship, a romantic relationship, I want my partners to feel good. I want them to feel cared for. And so how can you care for your partner? How can you show your partner the emotional sensitivity that they need to feel safe and feel like, I can play, I can be myself, I can be in the spotlight, the center of attention, because these planets aren't working together. They're not working in a vacuum, they're happening at the same time. So we've got the playfulness of Leo happening at the same time as the sensitivity of Venus in Cancer. So through being sensitive to your partners and caring and nurturing to them, and maybe your partner is your friend or whatever, is being silly and goofy and playful and being the center of attention, rather than like snuffing out their fire, showing them some kindness, even if it's not really something that you enjoy. Be sensitive if you're critiquing them in any way.
That is big. Would you also, as you were speaking, I wrote down the words, I understand. Yeah. Because I was just thinking how important it would be to just feel heard and feel understood. And so sometimes when someone's expressing something, the simple just, oh, I understand.
To feel understood, feel understood. I mean, Venus is the planet that rules the 5 physical senses. There's sound, but there's also sight, smell, taste, and touch. So it's more than just the communicating that goes on with Venus in Gemini. Now we've had the conversation now. So I would want you to know without me having to tell you. So because we've had the conversation, and it's yes, let's be on the same page, and that feels good. You feel safe when you're on the same page with somebody, when you're seen by somebody, you feel safe. And when you're in that position where you feel seen and recognized, that's when you have the natural sort of courage to be in the spotlight, which is that Leo energy. It's like the audience, applauding for you. It's like you feel seen, you've connected to them, and maybe there's some tears in the crowd because they felt what you showed them.
And it's really hard to do that in front of a crowd that is critical and harsh and mean. And oh yeah, exactly. Doing what you're doing. If you're listening on the podcast, you can't see what Scott just did. Yeah. He sat back and crossed his arms. And
when you cross your arms, what are you doing? You're covering your heart. You're literally blocking your heart when you cross your arms.
Ooh.
So when somebody crosses their arms across their chest, they're putting, in a literal, physical, real way, body parts in front of their heart.
Ah, wow. That is, I have not thought of it that way, but that is absolutely true. Yeah. And you can even feel it when you do it yourself. It's just like, yeah, I'm not open to what you have to say. I'm not here and present for that.
It's really interesting. You see the physical embodiment of the signs in people. I encourage anyone who's listening that knows a Leo moon, look at their posture. People that I know that were born with the moon in Leo, they stand like this, like their shoulders are naturally back, their heart is forward. It's not like they're pumping their chest out. It's their natural posture where their heart is forward. And so that's, the planet of emotions in the sign that rules the heart. So that is the opposite of crossing your arms in front of your heart, is standing with your shoulders back and your heart forward, your chin up.
Okay. So we're cultivating sensitivity we're being very expressive. We're having fun. We're playing. We're letting go of blame and shame and that sort of I can't because victim mentality. We are being sensitive to the people in our lives and their needs. And we're anticipating even some needs based on things we've learned over the last month or two. What else? I mean, that's a lot to be like, that's a lot of curriculum right there. Is there anything else about this week that you feel is really important for us to pay attention?
Absolutely. Yes. So we got to talk about Chiron because Chiron is the wound in the ancient wisdom that is unlocked through healing that wound. So Chiron has been stuck at 16 degrees for several weeks now. It begins its retrograde transit this week. So Chiron will be retrograde. This is from July 19th until December 23rd. If you want to go back to the shadow, Chiron moved into its retrograde shadow on March 25th, and it doesn't move out of its retrograde shadow until April 15th of 2023. So this is a very thorough sort of experience that we're having here when Chiron retrogrades, because like the other planet, the outer planets like Pluto and Neptune and Uranus, it's a slower moving planet. It's a 5-degree retrograde. So this is again why it's important to know what is at these degrees in your astrological code to give you a sense of really understanding where you are feeling the wound to your self-confidence. So Chiron is in Aries, which is cardinal fire. It's symbolized by the ram, that creature that doesn't think before it smacks horns with another ram in order to establish dominance so that it can lead the herd. Chiron, and so Aries is ruled by Mars, the god of war. So this is more of that fire energy. Leo is fixed fire. Chiron is Aries is cardinal fire. So as we're embracing our sovereignty and opening our heart, we're going to have to face some of our insecurities. Knowing exactly what those insecurities are depends on what is at 11 to 16 degrees in your astrological code, specifically in any cardinal sign, fire sign, or air sign is where they're going to have the strongest connection to Chiron. It's at 16 degrees right now, but by the time we get to December 23rd, it will be back at 11 degrees. Doesn't get back to where it is right now until April of 2023. So, but in thinking ahead, look behind, because what has occurred for you since March 25th until now, because those are the steps that are going to be retraced as Chiron moves retrograde through Aries. So it's an opportunity for us to face our fears and step into our self-confidence, our self-love, be authentic. You were going to ask something.
Yeah. Can you give us an example of a Chiron type of wound to
Yeah.
self-confidence.
Chiron wound is self-confidence. So that's fear. That's like, I'm afraid to go on stage. I'm afraid to, show up to this group of friends. And, I've been feeling, I'm hiding. Where are you hiding? Where are you hiding in your life? Is it a group of friends? Is it your relationship, your partner, your business partnership? Is it someone at work where you don't really show up authentically as yourself? You put on a mask and you pretend to be what you think the other people like or want from you. This is poking us in those areas and saying, no, like we said, the next time the planets and stars will be aligned in the way that they were when you were born is over 25,000 years from that date, time, and place. So you're here to be you and nobody other than you. And it's very important for you to be you, because if you're not you, then everybody else misses out on seeing themselves as they can only see themselves through you. You are a divine reflection of them. And so if you are hiding who you truly are, then you are doing a disservice to those that are in your life. And maybe some of these people, when you take your mask down, they will what is the word I'm looking for? They will validate your fears. And they'll be like, oh my God, I didn't realize you were like that. I don't want to be your friend anymore. So be it. That it's going to create space for new people to come into your life that are reflecting you more authentically, that will invigorate you more fully, and you'll have greater energy because you won't be spending it trying to hold up this mask for other people that don't truly love you for who you are, because you don't love yourself enough to show them who you are.
Yes, Scott, for sure. And in my experience, sometimes when I have those deep-seated fears and there's like something holding me back from being myself completely, and then I share it with someone in my life, like the thing that I'm wanting to do to be more an expression of who I am, sometimes they reflect my fear back to me. So sometimes I'll hear from them the thing that is my fear confirmed through them, but not because it's the truth. I really think it's because it's just showing that this is something that is in me, so I really feel like I want to, do X, Y, and Z. And the person says like, well, do you really have the background for that? Do you really have the expertise for that? Totally. Do you really think people want that or need that? It's like, oh God, those are all my fears.
Yes.
That isn't actually, and yes, they're expressing them, but I often like to think of them as just the mirror reflecting back to me what it is that's holding me back.
That is another brilliant example, Amanda. So, when you see that fear reflected back to you, how do you qualify that within yourself? And what do you do as a result of having that fear reflected back to you from someone else? Do you not go down the path that you want to go down? Or do you have the courage to say, you know what, that person just reflected my fears and I'm not going to give in to my fears.
Right.
I'm going to go down this path anyway.
And do we shut ourselves off to the other person? Because we could be like, oh, get all defensive and get angry and get upset or sad. And I think that's part of the process. And then there's the truth of, hey, that just like really hit me deep, because I think I'm afraid of the same things. Can we like work through this together? Like, can you hold my hand through this? Because it's super scary. I'm going to be putting myself out there. It's really scary to do that. Can you just like stand by my side? Because that's what I really need, or just for example. But it definitely is an interesting thing to navigate, these deep core wounds. And so many of them, we think they're so personal. Like we think and we attach a big story to it, which makes it feel personal. But a lot of times I've experienced that they're like human wounds. It's like we all share this, fear of abandonment or fear of rejection or fear of, there's, and to varying degrees, for sure. And when we express them really truthfully, I feel like the other people in our lives can be like, yeah, me too. Like
Mm-hmm.
I feel that way too. It's scary. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. You brought up a really important word to mention again is anger. Really pay attention to where anger is showing up in your life, because that could be the connection to the fear that you need to move through. And anger is a way to move through energy that's stuck. And so that could be what Chiron is doing as it moves retrograde. It's combing over these same areas that it did from March to July. And now we have to go through this again and clean out these areas of fear and find that love and authenticity within ourselves.
Scott, did you study psychology like in high school, college, anything? Did you?
No.
You're so
No.
naturally like wired that way. Is that the Scorpio sun, you think?
I guess so. I love to get, I'm a Scorpio sun and the Pisces moon. So, Pisces is the sign of the unconscious. And that is, where psychology exists, is studying how people think and that sort of stuff. There is, so that's where I find the compassion and the intuition for what I do. The Scorpio is that really passionate urge to get deep into those dark areas and learn the secrets of what makes people tick and why they do the things that they do. I mean, I've been seeing a therapist for over 16 years. So, so there is that. And my lady is going to school to get her master's in counseling and family psychology. So I am like around it a lot. So it is definitely an interest, but I never studied it like officially or anything like that. Yeah, formally. Yeah.
It's funny because one of the things that I have my undergrad in psychology and my master's in psychology, and it wasn't until astrology came into my life that I started to get the kinds of answers that I was looking for the whole time.
Okay.
I really wanted to understand why we do the things we do and what makes us tick and how to connect and commune and be in relationship with people in a better way. And psychology in school didn't do that for me. It was way too like reductionist for me. It was way too mechanistic. I don't know. It just didn't do it for me. So it's interesting when we have these conversations. I'm like, wow, Scott goes like right in there. It's always very psychologically oriented. And I love that.
I think I might have taken a psych class at UCSB or a psychology class or sociology class. Or
we might have been in the same class.
I know, maybe. So yeah, but I was a communications major. So
okay. Well, you do that really well too.
Okay.
Oh,
thank you.
So what else do we have this week?
Well, so there's going to be, let's see, I guess the biggest thing would be mentioning like Jupiter's also in Aries as well. It's also slowing down, or it's basically stopped at 8 degrees in Aries, 8 degrees away from Chiron. It's going to begin its retrograde in the coming weeks. But there's opportunities as Mercury is going to form a trine with Jupiter, and Venus is going to form a square with Jupiter. So look at your chart. What's at 8 degrees in cardinal signs, air and fire signs, but also with Venus, looking at water and earth signs. So basically all the signs. So just know the cardinal signs, know the air and fire signs. And if you have something like at 16 degrees in Leo, then that's making a trine with Chiron. It's 16 degrees in Aries. If you have something at 16 degrees in Cancer, which is cardinal, then you're making a square with Chiron, which is in cardinal fire. So
okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Perfect.
Yes.
All right. So we were on Jupiter and Aries.
Yeah. So it's Jupiter and Aries. It's stationing at 8 degrees, getting ready to retrograde. It's going to connect with Mercury first And so really it's giving you that confidence, that courage to speak from your heart, to be authentic. But then right after it does that, Venus moves into a square with Jupiter, which I don't necessarily think of that as bad. I mean, it's Lady Luck and the planet of luck. They're connecting, but it could create some sort of unrealistic expectations in terms of relationships. You were really confident the day before, and now things are maybe a little bit overblown. So just sort of managing the expectations with relationships. That's the other key point.
Okay. All right. Anything else for the week?
I mean, I think that's pretty much it. Leading up into next week, there is going to be, the at the end of the following week, there's going to be some action in Taurus. With we're moving towards this conversion where Mars and Uranus and the North Node are all moving to the same degree. It's going to be this triple conjunction at 18 degrees. And so that people might be feeling that. And it's important to recognize the Taurus energy, which is going to, create friction with these planets in Leo, because that's that square energy, fixed fire, fixed earth. Both fixed make a strong connection, but fire scorches earth. Earth extinguishes fire. The bull doesn't back down from anyone or anything. The lion doesn't back down from anyone or anything. So the tension that we're feeling, it's going to get more intense in the coming weeks. Hopefully we're not feeling it as much this week, but it is important as you're claiming your sovereignty, as you're opening your heart, get very clear about the practicalities of life, get clear about what it is you value. And why you value what you value, the work that you're doing to make the money that you need to make in order to spend it on the things that you value. Is there anything that you maybe are being wasteful in any area? Are you honoring your self-worth? That's the bottom line.
Okay, that's so good. Okay, Scott. So let's just quickly review. I mean, we've been doing reviews throughout, but essentially the theme for the week is sovereignty and open heart.
Yes.
So we're cultivating these qualities because of the sun being in Leo. The heart is all about Leo. The lion's all about Leo. So if you want to connect with certain type of energy, just feeling that heart, courage, lion, you said you're encouraging us to embrace the flame and enjoy life, have fun. The word joy came up again. We also have, for Scorpio and Taurus, this may feel a little bit like a sunburn because it's square for you. So make sure that you are prioritizing rest, recharging, and don't try and push through. So you really need to take the whole 20 hours of sleep the lion does a day seriously and emulate that part of the lion. Okay, we have Mercury going into Leo on Thursday. Mercury is going to be in Leo from July 19th to August 4th. This is time to roar, be proud of your thoughts and your ideas. There's a benevolence. Well, you probably want to identify whether or not you're being benevolent or a tyrant with that kind of energy. Are you being proud or are you being arrogant? There could be some verbal clashes, and you encourage us to be the person that has the courage to listen and doesn't need to push our own ideas. Speak from the heart. On Monday, I'm going to back up because we kind of went a little bit out of order. Mercury opposing Pluto in Capricorn. Mercury and Cancer opposing Pluto in Capricorn. So transforming through authority, take responsibility for what we want to achieve, transforming blame. This was a big underscore, transform blame, acknowledge that it happened. So we're not in denial about it, but you don't need to lug that baggage up the mountain with you. So time to release blame and victim mentality. On Tuesday, we also have
the sun.
The sun.
Opposing, yes.
Opposing
Pluto. So it
Okay. Yeah.
moves
Yeah. Yeah.
well.
So it's
Yes.
reinvigorating that same point.
Yes,
Exactly. Yes.
exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
Then we have Venus moving into Cancer. Relationships will have more sensitivity. There could be some tears flowing. More. This is asking us to be more nurturing, more caring, more kind, to honor that part in you that really needs people to honor and reflect your feelings back to you. How can you care? How can you share? How can you show sensitivity? And how can you do this in a multi-sensory way? In a multi-sensory way. So not
Yes.
just
Love
words,
that.
but also the way that you're touching and holding and maybe make great food, like whatever it is, all the different
Yes.
ways that you can show that you care, right?
Yes.
You may also find yourself more sensitive to criticism, and that you're going to have a little bit more of a need to feel seen and recognized. And you brought the word courage up again. Like, it does take courage to put yourself in positions where you could be rejected or not accepted. We also have Chiron, who has been stuck at 16 degrees of Aries, retrograde from July 19th to December 23rd. So feeling the wound to our self-confidence. Look at where you have 11 to 16 degrees in cardinal, fire, or air signs. That's where your curriculum is around your
Yes.
self-confidence. Yeah.
Exactly. Amazing.
Okay. And in the places, like, pay attention to where you feel afraid to be seen. What are you hiding? Where are you pretending to be what you think others want you to be? And Scott, you've reminded us so beautifully about the unique design that each one of us has. We didn't come here to hide that. We didn't come here to be someone else. We came here to be who we are. So just really recognizing that wound to your, like, that core existential wound to your self-confidence, and allowing yourself to have the courage to shine through anyways. You said to move anger, that there could be anger that comes up. It's really important to move that, maybe physically, maybe do something to help move it through your body.
For sure.
And we have look at your expectations in relationship, manage your expectations in relationship. You said something earlier that made me chuckle. You said, wanting the other people in our lives to know what we need without having to tell them. I always think that's so cute that we all have that, but it's like, come on, it's almost an impossible expectation that everybody's going to know what you want just because they love you. It's like actually expressing that too is okay. You know?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. And then you said that we're going to be moving into this Mars, Uranus, North Node in Taurus, and that we're sort of feeling the beginning, emerging energy in that direction. And so there's going to be an intensity that is growing with the cosmic energy, and that it's really important right now to anticipate that that's coming. Use this time to get clear about practicalities, what you value, why you value it. Where are you wasting your energy? Where are you wasting your resources? Where are your resources going in directions that are not in alignment with what you value? And this is a time to honor your self-worth.
Yes, I just want to add one little tidbit. You know, I did look back to see, like, the last time that Mars and Uranus and the North Node were all this close together in or all together in Taurus was May of 1855. And then I did a little, searching in on the internet about, like, what was going on historically. And there was, like, the Panic of 1857, which was, like, the first economic sort of downturn on a national scale in the United States. It affected, like, worldwide, because people were actually starting to communicate via the telegraph. So, like, news traveled a lot faster. So there was a panic in 1857, which occurred 2 years after these three were in Taurus. But I look at it as, like, kind of like a precursor. These planets are here so that we can all really get clear about what it is we need in the material sense.
Do you know what really sticks out to me about that is the correlation with the telegram and the ability for rumor to spread so quickly. And think about that right now. I mean, basically all anyone needs to do is say something. And then there's that panic that can ensue. And something that Dave Ramsey said recently, I watched a webinar about the housing market from him. And he's kind of like my financial, but he's like the financial father that I never had, you know, teaching me to be very good about my money and all these things. Anyways, I watched a thing that he did about the housing market, and his whole thing was, don't let rumors get in the way of facts. Like there are facts, and then there's like what you hear, and they're not the same things. Right. And that we can get really panicky when we just like hear a rumor and go, oh, you know, oh no. So I think that word, the panic of 1857 is also interesting, that word panic. Because it doesn't necessarily mean there was truth. It just means there was panic, and the telegram made that possible. So think about what makes panic possible right now. And I like what you're reminding us to do, is just be really clear in ourselves, in our values, and you make sure that we're putting our money and our resources and our time in the direction that is in alignment with those things. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Excellent. Okay. Well, thank you for bringing that in, because I know that's huge on everybody's minds. We actually are going to be doing a financial astrology webinar at the end of the month with Mitchell Scott Lewis, who has been a financial astrologer for decades. And I watched a webinar he did, and I was like, oh God, I would love to share this with our community. I think it would really help people connected astrologically, and again, have it more grounded in historical cycles and rhythms, and not have to like be trying to navigate this without context, you know? So anyways, that's coming at the end of the month. Yeah. That sounds really cool. Yeah. Okay, everybody, thank you so much for being here with us. Scott, it is such a pleasure, as always, to have you here on the Weekly Weather. Thank you for continuing to say yes and for showing up. It's so much fun to have you here. And just so you know, another little heads up, Scott is going to be one of the astrologers that is featured on our new astrology reading platform called Astrologer Connect. I'm literally just dropping seeds because I don't even have a release date yet, but it's going to be sometime soon. Scott's going to be one of the featured astrologers. So if you listen to the Weekly Weather and you go, oh my God, I would love to have a reading with him. I would love to either book a reading, or I'd love to just like hop on and have an instant reading with him. Like ask him a question, ask any question you want. He's going to be one of the astrologers that we feature on that platform. So very excited about that coming sometime in the fall. And we're just working out all the technology. We want it to be really great experience for all of you. And it's a lot more complicated than you ever think it's going to be. So that's where we're at. And thanks to all of you for being here. Thank you so much for being a part of our community. Thank you, as always, for making astrology a part of your life. And I can't wait to connect with you on the next episode. Take care and have a great week, everyone. Are you looking for personalized guidance? Do you have questions about what you're meant to do and be in this lifetime? What you need in intimate relationships to really thrive? Or what major themes you'll be working with in the months to come? If you answered yes to any of these questions, you'll want to check out our personalized character and destiny and year ahead reports. These reports are perfect for you if you want professional insight into your astrology chart or year ahead. Written by internationally renowned astrologer Adrian Ross Duncan. Your character and destiny report provides deep insight into who you are and what you came here to do, your biggest strengths and challenges, and how your astrological design impacts your career and relationships. The Essential Year Ahead report gives you insights into the major themes you'll be exploring in your career, your love life, personal development, and much more. For only $37, you can get your personalized astrology report delivered straight to your inbox within minutes. Just go to astrologyhub.com/reports to get yours today. That's astrologyhub.com/reports.